touch you?
Yes, let me see you.
OK， 想说还是把这个剧情区走完好，应该今天走完吧？听说长，把它走完吧。
Sister, follow my voice.
Sister， 如果我那时候知道你是个背骨仔，我这时候就小拖。
Let me see you, sister. Come to the bar, Farah. Let me see you.
难道这就是古拉格？
How long have you been in solitary?
10 days.
You look sick.
No food or water.
Sister,
It's okay. I can take it.
why have they put us together like this?
They're using you to get to me.
They would have to kill me first.
No, Hadir. I need you alive.
Look. I stole a key. To what? We will find out. Here, take it. Catch.
Got it.
Good. Hide it. General Barkov is coming. He knows about the messages. Does he know that you are Kareem?
We'll see.
你装睡。
Oh, look. Family reunion.
Oh, nice. Go fuck.
You want this to stop, you tell me the truth. Ведете его на склад. Make him talk. This one's all mine.
为什么他脸上都会有
Step
对
back.
啊？
Back!
叫我后退，我就要后退。不要嘞！叫我后退我就后退吗？不要嘞！
I hope you had a nice visit with your brother. Shut up and go in the corner. Do not face me, Farah. Any plans you have to escape, you will don't do without permission. As I was saying, any plans you have to escape, you will soon forget. Face me now. Face me, I said.
好烦哦！一下要人家面对，一下要背对他，一下要这样，一下要那样，到底想干嘛？
Shithole country. You must be so thirsty. Want some?
完了，
Shut up and go in the corner.
好了，快点！
Any plans you have to escape, you will soon forget. Face me now. Face me, I said. It's hotter than hell in this shithole country. You must be so thirsty. Want some? ，none left.
骂乐色干，
Let's
人
get
渣
you some
狗
more.。Very. Now is your chance to tell the truth. In there.
一直推，一直推，一直推，一直推。
The chair, Farah.
华子，
In the chair, Farah, now.
在看这个，是人肉吗？他是要电我啊！
There will be no escape, Farah. No one is coming to the rescue. I'm in control. And I can make your life much easier.
好咯，典范绿光的巴克夫，巴克夫。
Answer me. So stubborn. You will pay for your silence. I've been patient with you, but no more.
That's
Instead, you
when
may
the
see your
fun
brother
Luke
one
one.
last time. He's gonna give you a
家
drink.
庭不幸福，对吗？
Let's breathe. Breathe, Farah. You can do it. Use your head, Farah. Breathe.
哎呀，
I thought you wanted to see your brother. Toughen up. Again. Ah, that's it. Get some air. Don't get out. There you go. Good.
在教游泳呢。 呼吸，
So strong, Farah. Keep it up and you will see Hadir. One more time. Who is Karim?
The messages are from me. I am Karim.
No, Karim is your leader. You're just a messenger. Доводи! I found one of your sisters.
I said nothing. It's okay, Hazard.
Quiet. Her life is in your hands now, Farah. Stay awake, she lives. Pass out, she dies. You shot us!
啊，还来啊！
Not that way, Farah!
开啦！ 我会游泳啊！
Yes, another breath. Trying to move your head. Enough!
都开啦！是来这边上游泳课的。
Congratulations, Farah. You saved the life. I want you to tell me the truth. Before she dies.
I did what you asked.
No, I said the truth. Who is Karim?
The messages are from me. I am Karim. I am responsible.
Of course you are.
Farah, no.
I knew all along. Уведите. Tell the others their fearless leader is broken. You must be hungry, Farah. Eat. Then we'll talk.
你给我吃什么东西？
You think this is a game? Huh? You think you can beat me?
有报应，
Enough!
又在闪。
Your brother took a key from me. Where is it?
Did you lose a key?
One is missing, but we have others.
What does the key open?
You think you're so smart? Karim. Now, where is the key your brother stole from me?
What What key?
The one you're hiding. This country is a breeding ground for terrorists. I am here to bring law and order to this land. And no terrorist thief will harm my country. I will protect Russia. Quiet.
脑子有洞啊！
Заберите их на складе и спалите его нахер! You didn't save your people, Farah Karim. You killed them. Вертолеты, быстро! Всех!
Loose, not tight. I need a tool. Crossbow. Perfect. Nice little shiv. Yes. Go now. Good. Rocks.
都使用是吧？
Maybe here? The way up, Sarah.
哦，这什么智障设计呀？大便的地方。
I can use this to... I can't get out this way. Find Hadir.
Oh.
Это еще что? Какое-то движение. Крейсер. Это место просто...
哎哎，没看到吧？
Это просто крейсер. Кто передвинул стул?
Surprise, motherfucker!
Это же твоя секция! Черт, найди ее и убей! Слышу движение. Это она. Так, ищи ее, оба. Я пытаюсь! Пытайся лучше!
厕所吗你？凶哦，法拉真的很猛。
I'm coming, sisters. Sisters, you escaped. I knew she would. The guards left. What's happening? Barco's forces are under attack. We have to go. So dear.
哇哦！姐妹们儿，
Where'd you get the key, Kareem? Here's the way. We'll ambush them. Now,
姐妹们，咱们上了。
like we said. Well done, sisters. Barkov locked the others in the warehouse. Let's get them. Yes, Karim. Cousins, you're very good. So are you, sister. We are trying. 这把看起来比较好。
躲开狙击枪线。
He's up there. Take him out.
要死要死要死！
The sniper is holding us back. Shoot them.
派，这狙击手很派哦。
The warehouse. Come on. Sniper down. Good kill.
哎，枪呢？那你的枪呢？
There's a way through here, Kareem. The others must be inside.
哎呦！哎！噔噔噔噔噔噔
I'm Kareem.
，Price。
Got your message.
哦，原来他们是手枪的。
Lieutenant John Price. Where are the others?
In there. Straight ahead.
Stay close.
Go on, brother.
Well, let's go, boys. Well, let's go, boys.
毒气室，
This is the gas pipe. Keep trying on the evidence.
And the prisoners.
I'm gonna breathe. Stay back. Go. All clear. Okay, let's get them out of there. All right, be sprinkled. Get that door open.
I can't. It's locked.
Pull it. Right.
Adir. Adir.
Keep pulling.
红岸，大概拼出来哦。外送用不到，拿个吃的。 会撑哦。
Collect survivors and supplies.
那还不是靠 price， price。
Go north. Avoid the highway. Bravo 6 to Cobalt 4, confirming station time.
10 minutes.
Rog, hold orbit.
哎，等一下
Hurry
哦。
now. Barkov's gonna come and claim his dead.
Yalla, Tazerna.
Here, fella. You know he's gonna make you pay for this.
We will make them pay.
We'll be ready.
My men have cleared the road to the north. You can camp there, it's safe.
Thank you.
The revolution begins now, sister.
The war begins now, brother.
Even war is a high ground. Stay on it. Bravo 6, wheels up in 2.
Yo, yo.
20 years of civil war.
There's nothing civil about it.
Adir's well trained. Teamed up, kidnapped, doesn't matter. He took the gas to Russia,
Yeah,
John.
he did that without Katana's help.
Got the network and the manpower.
How can you blame him, right?
Unofficially, no. But this is bigger than Hadir now. We've got two options.
Or we warn Moscow.
Or we let Mother Russia have a taste of her own medicine.
No, a lot of innocent people are gonna die.
At the hands of a Western asset.
Okay, so let's cut to the chase.
What do you suggest?
A business trip.
Unsanctioned?
Black.
Who's your team?
Some old comrades.
And the sergeant?
可是 Part 你们是 18。
I can get you in after that. You're on your own. Post-nation weapons only.
Leave it to me. It's a hell of a view, Nikolai.
Was the capital before Moscow.
The good old days.
可能貌似现在有太空站要接轨星际效益复习时间。诺兰。
Violated, then we have a rule that we've predetermined, gives us guidance to say whether we could approach or not. So far, our vehicle has been very healthy. But
NASA SpaceX 应该是在10点20几分要准备接太空站啊，在这儿啊 SpaceX Crew Dragon。
About 4 minutes, moving at our current pace.
它的画面应该都一样吧？
approach.
对啊，那应该看这个
On the
SpaceX。
spacecraft, all over the.
嗯。 Page to screen.
As well, we should actually pretty clearly here too. There's a black portion and a white portion sort of separated by a fin. The black portion is solar panels, solar cells that'll charge Dragon's batteries, and the bottom side are the white portion is actually a thermal radiator that's used to keep the spacecraft nice and cool. Of course, the avionics and the cabin, making sure that Bob and Doug are comfortable inside.
Looks like we're getting a shadow cast. We are just 60 meters away, continuing to close in. Just about 40 meters to go until we're at that hold point. Should get there in just over 2 minutes. Meanwhile, teams in Hawthorne and in Houston doing their internal go, no-go for docking. They're going to get all the teams pulled. Once everyone's go, we'll be able to give Dragon the final go-ahead for the vehicle to autonomously fly in and dock with the International Space Station. Should be coming up on waypoint 2 arrival in just about 1 minute, 45 seconds. At this point, it'll be 20 meters away from that docking port. The International Docking Adapter number 2 attached to pressurized mating adapter number 2 at the very forward end of the Harmony module.
Right there on the, right around the center, you can see the forward hatch. It's got a window in it. You can see a couple of handles, and there's some features that look sort of bronze-ish. Those are the pedals that we were talking about earlier as part of the soft capture system. So pretty wild too to see. We're so close that we're getting shadows from the station on Dragon. Wow.
And we're getting these views of
接了吗？
Dragon's approach
该是怎
from
么
two
打开啊？
cameras that are right next to that docking adapter. And the
好像说1
movement's a
分钟
little
30。
a little jarring at times. These cameras are being commanded by a
接起来了。
person at the Cronus console in Mission Control Houston, and they send some very basic function commands to the camera, which it then executes automatically. And so they're continuing to follow Dragon in, so we do thank them for their diligence to give us these views of this historic moment as we are just less than 30 meters away from docking.
30公尺。
Right above the NASA meatball logo, you can see three of the service section Draco thrusters.
In Mission Control Houston, and they send some very basic function commands to the camera, which spread around the vehicle automatically. Used for a lot of the attitude control, continuing to follow Dragon in maneuvers like we just watched Bob and Doug diligence to give their second views of manual flight moment as we are just less than 30
actually
meters
oriented
away
in a way too,
from
where
docking.
if you were to lose some of those thrusters, you still have redundancy and control in those axes. That's part of the reason why they're sort of at the angles that they are.
All right, so we should be getting to waypoint 2 right now. So it looks like we do have that hold.
这个对接完，我就继续看完，我就会去继续把单人剧情继续走。今天应该走得完吧？都没有很长。
ensure your visors are closed prior to Dragon's departure from the waypoint. And once Dragon is inside, the crew hands-off point, retreat, and breakout are not permitted. And for your awareness, we have sunset in a little less than 8.5 minutes.
Copies all on the big loop. Go.
那再接吗？
Doug on the spacecraft confirming their go for docking. They're going to put down their visors. Got some instructions there about the crew hands-off point that we had talked about earlier. That's a point where we don't want the crew issuing any commands to the vehicle. It's about just about 2 meters away from the docking adapter. I believe the number is about 1.7 meters.
1.7公尺。那我说每1分钟。
Houston and station are now go for docking. Chris, you can monitor for steps 3 and 4. 3 and 4 in 1.104. Crew Dragon approach and retreat monitor.
看看人家 Cooper 怎么接的、啊。
Steps 3 and 4.
他没有什么爪子可以把它抓起来吗？还是要慢慢靠？
Copy, visors down.
With the crew confirming their visors down, we should see the final approach resume.
Copy inbound.
过铺咯。这是从这个应该是从太空站的角度看过去，前面这个叫 Crew Dragon 飞龙，飞龙载人舱。
should come up in about 3 minutes or so, right before we get that final docking. It comes about 20 seconds prior. We're just about 2 meters away from the station still. and that's just the crew not issuing any abort commands. At that point, it would be too late, and so any aborts would be executed automatically by Dragon itself. So we're closing in at less than 1/10 of a meter per second at this point.
You can see the service section Dracos just doing all these very small, minor attitude corrections. Really, the autonomous docking system at work, making sure that the vestibule and the soft capture system is lined up with IDA2. It's the international docking adapter. You can see much more clearly there the hinge mechanism for the nose cone. Those 4 black circles are the forward bulkhead Dracos, not to be used at this time. And then of course the pedals of the soft capture system. Wow.
Dragon on the big loop. We're inside 10 meters. We cannot make out the docking target, but we do see the outline.
过曝啦。
We copy and concur, 10 meters.
Right, we're less than 10 meters away. Again, we're closing at that rate of less than 1/10 of a meter per second. We should be just about 1 minute 45 seconds away from docking.
There's a center line camera right in that middle, so that you can see where the forward hatch is, and right in the middle of that there's a window and there's a center line camera that is aligned with the center of the vehicle and the center of the docking mechanism. So that is what the autonomous docking system is using to line up with sort of a cross hatch, cross target on the docking port. Again, the forward docking port on PMA2, or the pressurized mating adapter.
And we are just 5 meters away. Again, we're racing that sunset. This Dragon continues to close, 4 meters to go.
Those shadows of the space station on the vehicle. Yeah, you can actually see the centerline camera pretty clearly there, sort of with the contrast of the sun right now.
3 meters to go.
刚刚那是操作画面嘛，然后解谜游戏哦。
2 meters.
2公尺。
We are inside the hands-off point, the chop, the crew hands-off point. 1 meter to go. Soft capture complete.
Dragon is soft capture confirmed. Stand by for retraction and docking.
And we just heard it, soft capture. We have docking, that coming at 7:16 a.m. Pacific time, with the station and Dragon flying 262 statute miles right over the border between northern China and Mongolia.
You saw a little bit of motion there of Dragon. That was that relative motion that the soft capture system is damping out. Once that motion is clear, then the soft capture system will be retracted, and Dragon will go for hard capture.
Again, if just now tuning in, that soft capture, that docking coming 7:16 a.m. Pacific, 10:16 a.m. over on the East Coast. Dragon and the International Space Station were flying 262 statute miles right over the border between northern China and Mongolia. So that soft capture ring now going to retract. It's one more step on the way to
太空站现在好像在中国跟蒙古中间的上空。
Yeah, and so the next step here is once the soft capture ring is retracted, there are 12 latches that we refer to as hard capture latches. Those are what will really create that pressure-tight seal between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station. So once soft capture is complete, and I believe we'll get that call from our core here, Anna, then we'll get confirmation of hard capture, and the crew, of course, aboard have this information.
Soft capture and hard capture.
So they'll also see indication of hard capture complete.
软捕捉跟
Once
硬
those
捕
two
捉
steps are done, then that's docking complete.
That's right. And we're expecting to hear some words from everybody. A pretty monumental moment. I mean, for Doug Hurley, he's returning to where he last docked almost 9 years ago on the very last space shuttle mission. Now commanding the very first commercial spacecraft to deliver astronauts to the International Space Station.
That's got to be cool for them. They've mentioned quite a few times that they're best friends. Our favorite dads in space, as we've been calling them. This has got to be really cool for them. It's got to be really cool for their families too, watching this.
Looks like we have another quick handover. We'll get that video back shortly. We're about 75% complete already with that retraction. Once that retraction is completed, we'll keep an eye out for the 12 ready to hook indicators. Once those are ready, those 12 hooks will begin to engage, and that'll securely attach Dragon to the International Space Station.
是他们交汇的地方，是吗？
Yeah, so right
这
now
边
the
吗？
vehicle
应该是吧？
confirming
他们
that
是从
the
白色
soft
这
capture
个线，
system has.
And that'll securely attach
当
Dragon
初
to
起
the
飞的时候是从
International
白
Space
色这
Station.
边。
Yeah, so right now the vehicle confirming that
然后
the soft capture system
最后跟太空站一
has
起。
12 of those around the docking ring, and that's what
哦，这个是
creates
右边是
that
太空站，左边
airtight
是
seal between the
那个
Dragon
飞
spacecraft
龙
and the International
载人
Space
舱。
Station. The volume between, which we refer to as the vestibule, is currently not pressurized. Of course, it was just exposed to the vacuum of space until literally minutes ago, about 4 minutes ago. So just waiting for the vehicle to get that.
Dragon SpaceX, ring retraction complete. Docking sequence is holding for MCS reconfiguration.
So we see those ready to hook indicators are lighting up green. So we should be just about to step into those 12 hooks beginning to engage to get that secure mate between Dragon and the International Docking Adapter on the space station.
Wow, right now those two vehicles are flying together. They are attached to each other.
他们两个接在一起了，然后好像说他们两个结合的地方需要一点时间让气压跟空气正
18
常
hours,
嘛
58
过
minutes, and
去。
42 seconds. So we promised about a 19-hour ride up to station, and we made it just a few minutes before
从
that.
起飞
They were able to
发
dock a
射
few
到
minutes ahead of schedule.
接
We were tracking them to
连接
still take about another 10
他们
minutes, but able to step
定
through all
格
of their
19个
burns
小
about
时。
16 minutes ahead of schedule and get us to where we are now. If you missed it just a few moments ago, that initial docking coming at 7:16 a.m. Pacific, 10:16 a.m. over on the east coast of the United States, and they were 262 statute miles flying together over the northern border of China and Mongolia. So really exciting. We're just waiting for this docking complete to be confirmed. We'll expecting to hear some words, obviously, from the crew on board and all the excited teams down here. We're just waiting for this moment. And then it's time to start getting Dragon integrated into the station. There will be an umbilical that will get mated, and that'll allow Dragon to flow data and power into the station systems, and then it'll be over to the crew.
Endeavour and station at Houston on the big loop. MCS is configured. We're proceeding with hook driving.
All right, and they did a quick So the motion control system onboard station now back under those control moment gyros, so handed over from the Russian thrusters, and Dragon now given the go to drive those hooks. We have to do that changeover of attitude control before we drive those hooks, as the Russian thrusters a little bit more dynamic in their control of attitude, and if you had a thruster firing while you were starting to drive those hooks, that could miss a line. So going over to the smoother control moment gyros on the US side, now controlling the attitude on board the station, and those hooks, those 12 hooks on Dragon, about to start driving.
Right now, Dragon and ISS attached, just flying off the east coast of China, just underneath Japan.
No time for caution.
Attached to each other, we recently passed over to the orbital night, so we're on the currently the dark side of the world. Actually, we're lucky enough to see soft capture happen just as we were crossing over the Terminator line.
And if you're wondering what you're looking at, this is one of the cameras on the very outboard part of the Japanese experiment module, looking back in towards the very front part of Node 2, where Dragon is currently docked. We are in an orbital nighttime, that's why everything is so dark, but you're looking at Dragon. It is horizontal to the ground, so the hatch part is right where that green light pretty much is. You can see the nose cone still illuminated above it, and it is currently attached to an international docking adapter on the International Space Station.
那就看 NASA 那个推举还好。
Inside that capsule.
Cooper, you did it! Cooper,
National docking adapter on the International Space Station.
A privately developed vehicle up to the International Space Station. Both test pilots got to do some fun tests today. Have a few more steps before they can actually get aboard and ingress to the International Space Station. And that's what we heard over the big loop. That transition, which allows us to then proceed with hard capture.
We're seeing the first set of hooks, so the first 6 out of the 12 are now closed, 6 more to go.
Again, there are 12 of those along the ring. And that helps us ensure that we have an airtight seal. It is vacuum around them right now, so we want to make sure we're keeping all of that valuable life support in the vehicle. Now the combined ISS Dragon vehicle.
While inside the capsule, Bob and Doug also standing by for this hard capture to complete. Once we have that docking complete call, they'll be able to start stepping through a number of procedures to get them ready to move into the International Space Station. They'll get the go-ahead to dock or get out of their suits, and then they'll have some activities on the Dragon side to prepare for the hatch opening. Chris Cassidy will mainly be working on the station side to pressurize the vestibule. So, as Shiv has talked about, the space between the Dragon capsule and the space station was exposed to vacuum, and even after this tight seal has occurred, we'll still be at vacuum inside. So we'll actually open up a valve to supply air from the station side into that space between the Dragon and station hatchways, and we'll get it up to the same ambient pressure that we'll have inside of Dragon and on the station itself. They'll wait for it to thermally balance out, make sure we don't have any temperature swings as we're bringing it up from vacuum, so probably from a very cold temperature up to about 72 degrees that they have in their cabin temperature on board the station, and then we'll get the hatches open.
Dragon SpaceX, hard capture complete. Stand by for docking completion.
第二阶段衔接完成。
And now that hard capture is complete, so that's confirmation of those 12 latches to create that airtight seal. Now that's complete, the umbilicals from the station side will interface with the Dragon vehicle umbilicals, and that'll provide power and communications through space station directly to Dragon. Pretty much the whole way up, Dragon's been using a combination of batteries and its solar cells pointed at the sun to make sure that it has enough electrical power for the journey up.
By now for that umbilical to get mated, and that's gonna, again, as Shiva was just saying, start the power and data transfer between Dragon and the space station. They've been transmitting data through RF radio frequency on the way uphill, and during the final approach, this will give Hardmate basically a wired LAN connection between the Dragon spacecraft and the International Space Station itself, and then also being able to draw power from the station systems using those great big solar arrays that are used to generate all of the electricity for systems on board the station.
太空站衔接上之后，可以衔接上太空站的资源、电力啊、太阳能。那左边那个衔接舱的部分，真的很像游戏里面会出现的画面。关灯。
And the soft capture system has been stowed. We see the umbilical starting to deploy. About 40% of the way so far, going pretty quickly. Should just take a couple more seconds until we're all the way connected. And then we should be getting that docking complete call out from the core here in Mission Control, SpaceX and Hawthorne, standing by.
Dragon SpaceX docking sequence is complete.
Complete. 那有画面吗？那有画面吗？
X Dragon, we copy docking complete. To say that it's been a real honor to be just a small part of this 9-year endeavor since the last time the United States spaceship had docked with the International Space Station. We have to congratulate the men and women of SpaceX at Hawthorne, McGregor,
9年前是上一次的
Space Center.
衔接
Their incredible efforts
9年前有
over the
送
last several years
俄罗斯
to make this
俄罗斯有
cannot go
送美国人上去太空站，后来就都没有。
Also like to thank Kathy Leaders and her team of the Commercial Crew Program of NASA. An outstanding job by everyone. Last, I'd like to thank the men and women of the National Aeronautics and Space Agency. This is an incredible time to be at NASA. 3 new vehicles to be flown, continuing mission in low Earth orbit, and then to the moon and Mars. We thank you again and congratulate you.
Dragon arriving. Crew of Expedition 63 is honored to welcome Dragon and the Commercial Crew Program to welcome aboard the International Space Station. Bob and Doug, glad to have you as part of the crew. Well done. Bravo Zulu.
Okay, happy. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Chris.
Endeavour, this is Houston. Bob and Doug, welcome to the International Space Station after your spectacular rendezvous and docking of the first Crew Dragon vehicle. For the first time since the retirement of the space shuttle, you've completed a historic ride to the ISS and have opened up a new chapter in human space exploration. On behalf of the flight control teams here in Houston and in Hawthorne, California, and to our SpaceX colleagues, bravo on a magnificent moment in spaceflight history and on the start of a new journey that has changed the face of space travel in this new era of space transportation. Bob and Doug, good luck, and we look forward to working with you on board.
Dragon SpaceX, Bob and Doug, we here at SpaceX are honored to have been part of ushering in this new era of human spaceflight. On behalf of the SpaceX and NASA partnership, congratulations on a phenomenal accomplishment and welcome to the International Space Station.
Well, thank you, Anna. We appreciate all the good words and everyone thanking us, but it truly was a magnificent effort by the entire team, the SpaceX team, the NASA team, and a team across America who was able to pull this off and bring human spaceflight again to our nation. Thanks for everything. Happy to be aboard.
所以我会看到他们走过去吗？他们有要过去吗？
And Dragon SpaceX, with that, ground will be enabling hardline power and comm connection shortly. You are go to dock your suits per procedure 4.012. We will be configuring your video to go external shortly, and we have one request for Bob's suit doffing when you're ready to copy.
Copy all. Go ahead for Bob's suit.
During your approach suit leak check, we noticed Bob's suit pass with a lower PSID than his previous vehicle and O&C checks. We still had plenty of margin to support you in a depress, but in order to rule out potential hardware issues, when Bob is doffing, after he opens his structural zipper, check all 3 bladder zipper heads to see if any are partially closed. It is possible that if the head is backed off slightly, that the white tooth is partially visible or a small gap can be seen between the end of the zipper head and the gasket end. Please report observations.
Copy. Bob will take a close look at his zippers when he doffs, and he'll get doffing first, so we'll let you know as soon as we see something or if we see something.
Great. Thank you so much.
Wow. So now Dragon has completed its docking sequence. There's a number of checks. That was an absolutely historic moment. And in spite of that, the ground team is getting right back to business, talking about the suit performance.
On Dragon to ground,
gotta turn the cameras off first before we can get them out of their suits.
Absolutely. So spacecraft is now docked. They've got several tasks that they're going to need to be able to do. While we're waiting for those tasks to happen, we're actually going to take a short break. But if in case you just missed it, the Dragon spacecraft is now docked to the International Space Station, docked at 7:16 a.m. local time.
Yep.
Bob and Doug are at the space station.
Yeah, they're there. It was just under a 19-hour journey from their launch to their docking, so pretty much right on what we were expecting. They got there a little bit early today, which was nice, as they were able to get through all those burns. But they're docked. It's going to be a little while. They have to do that vestibule pressurization, and then they'll have to do some leak checks.
Dragon on Dragon to ground for Bob. I've got both structural zippers on my gloves lowered, and I do see white teeth visible on both sides. Looks like a full white tooth. I'll give you an update once I get to the leg zipper.
Copy. White teeth on both sides, and we'll await your next status.
So the crew right now just going through some checks of their gloves. They're about to get out of their suits. That'll be the first step for the crew on board Dragon. For the crew on board station, Chris Cassidy's going to start getting that vestibule pressurized, and then they're going to do leak checks. So they're going to be actually taking atmosphere from station, putting it into that vestibule, and then once we get all the leak checks done, things are thermally stabilized, it'll be time for hatch opening. We'll be able to see Bob and Doug get into the space station for the first time from on board the Dragon spacecraft. And again, for Doug Hurley, this is the exact port he was at almost 9 years ago when he was on the very last space shuttle mission, and now he's commanding the first commercial vehicle to dock with the International Space Station. I think that's going to do it for us in Hawthorne. We're going to give you into the very capable hands of Gary Jordan to take you through the rest of the hatch opening. We're going to be watching from here and following along. We can't wait to see these crew members on board the International Space Station. Thank you for everybody who tuned in. We hope you enjoyed the launch. We hope you enjoyed the ride uphill. We really hope you were with us every single moment from suit up until now, so you've been up for over 24 hours. But it's been an incredible experience for us to see these guys get on board the International Space Station, to watch Dragon go through the paces, to be lofted into orbit on Falcon 9. Something we've been waiting for years, seeing it come to fruition. I'm still grappling with.
Dragon SpaceX
but
on
Dragon
Dragon
really
ground.
incredible.
Video is
and
no
Shiv,
interior.
it was an honor doing this with you today.
Yeah, absolutely, Dan. They
Dragon copies. Thanks, Anna.
can't step on the crew. That's
step
the
on the
rule.
yeah.
There were some really great words there from all of the flight control teams about how this was a joint partnership between NASA and SpaceX. I think everyone is over the moon here at SpaceX for this. Bob and Doug have got to be excited, and now back to business to get the vestibule ready to go and then get them on board the station. So again, thank you for following us. Please continue to watch as Gary takes over for the hatch opening portion. And keep following our social media for more updates on what's happening with Hatch Open.
Over to you, Gary.
Thank you, Shiva. Thank you, Dan. What an incredible flight for Bob and Doug, lifting off just yesterday and now in space, attached to the International Space Station. Some kind words all over after docking at 9:16 a.m. Central, and a hard mate just 11 minutes later. We're still not done here. We're going to take you through the pressurization sequence and eventually hatch opening of the International Space Station.
Ground. Cabin mic check com.
And I hear you loud and clear on Dragon to ground. How me?
Loud and clear.
接下来
Excellent.
连接舱的部分是他来搞，他来
Good
带。
com checks. We're still.
导播没声音，导播，音控音控。
We'll take a close look if we can see anything else that might have resulted in that lower leak check pressure.
Copy. Really appreciate the report. Thank you.
Teams behind me will be configuring the Dragon and the International Space Station to welcome Bob and Doug aboard. First, of course, the International Space Station attitude control moment gyros, really holding the Dragon in place through the hard capture sequence. We'll start enabling those thrusters and pressurizing the vestibule. It'll take about an hour until we're able to get the hatch open. The teams here in Mission Control Houston, Orbit 2,
这边的人看起来貌似都比较老
will be taking us through that process.
，SpaceX 那边的人都比较年轻。
Aboard the International Space Station, Commander Chris Cassidy standing by in Node 2. Right in front of that is the pressurized mating adapter. He recently opened up the hatch to introduce some of the station air and mix it, get a nice mix in there, avoiding some CO2 pockets. That hatch you see just beyond Chris Cassidy there is normally closed. He was able to open it a little bit earlier today, mix some of that cabin air, and get rid of those CO2 pockets, make sure it's all clean and ready for Bob and Doug. He closed it shortly after just to make sure no FOD or foreign objects, anything were to float in there that would inhibit any hatch opening process today. One of the next milestones for Chris Cassidy will be to open up that hatch. He's got some cameras you see placed within that node. We'll get some good views of the hatch opening and welcoming Bob and Doug here in just about an hour. A big moment in history today, May 31st, 2020. Just on the other side of that hatch, Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley have successfully arrived at the International Space Station. Still a couple of milestones to get through. Before we can open up that hatch, it's going to take some time. First, pressurizing the vestibule in between the station and Dragon. We'll bring that up to pressure. It's going to take some time for that pressure to stabilize. Of course, the temperature within that vestibule causes a little bit of swing, so we'll just wait for that to pressurize or to stabilize before opening up that hatch. Here in Mission Control Houston, Flight Director Zeb Scoville welcoming the director of the NASA Johnson Space Center, Mark Geyer. We'll have a few other VIPs here in the room to welcome Bob and Doug once they get through that hatch.
门的另一边有贵宾哦。难道是异形？导播没画面。
Now again, this repressurization and hatch opening process is going to take some time. You see now we're going to have some intermittent losses with the communication from the International Space Station. You're seeing now the International Space Station Flight Control Room, led by Flight Director Zeb Scoville. Just a handover of some of those audio and visual communications. We'll be regaining those shortly. Might lose them intermittently throughout the repressurization process, but the teams here will be monitoring all of the procedures, again, pressurizing that vestibule and eventually getting to that hatch opening.
来看看大家桌上都有什么东西。是啤酒吗？
From right to left there, seated, you see Flight Director Zeb Scoville. It was he who was leading the teams for both the launch of Bob and Doug over at the Cape. He was leading the teams here in Mission Control Houston. You just saw the Johnson Space Center Director Mark Geyer walk off to the side. Seated next to Zeb Scoville, Joshua Kutrick. He is one of the members of the most recent class of astronauts, the class of 2017. Canadian Space Agency astronaut, went through candidate training and officially became an astronaut just recently. Milestones to get to that hatch opening first. The International Space Station attitude control has been successfully switched from control moment gyro only control, enabling some of the thrusters on the International Space Station. We also just received word that Dragon is successfully receiving power.
Ground ISS power connection has been established.
And there you have it. Dragon is successfully receiving power from the International Space Station.
And Dragon copies on Dragon to ground that power has been established. Just let us know when we should make a hardline comm check.
We will, Co. Thank you.
啊，完了。他编稿的时候。
Got two on the door.
For those of you just joining us, you are going to get a live look at NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, commander of the International Space Station, doing some of the prep work to open up the hatch and get ready to welcome Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley aboard the International Space Station. They launched successfully yesterday at 2:22 p.m. Central Time, 3:22 p.m. Eastern, and docked successfully with a contact and capture just a little bit ago at 9:16 a.m. Central Time, 10:16 Eastern.
Goes off. Well, if that happens, then we're all fucked. Let's gear up. Get evil. Clock's ticking. This way.
What's the time frame?
昔日同袍看起来都是狠角色。
Best I could do on a short notice. Suppressors, ammo, no flashbangs.
Nice job, Nick. 40 cal hollow points.
150 grain. Your favorite.
哇，真勁！
Now, some of the milestones to get that hatch open have already taken place. First, attitude control. For some of the docking sequence, for the initial contact and capture, attitude control was on Russian thrusters. That was moved to control moment gyros for hard mate, making sure that everything lined up and we got those ready-to-hook indicators green before driving those hooks. The attitude control has since been switched to enable some thrusters on the International Space Station. We did get confirmation of good power being delivered from ISS to the internet to the Dragon. Next will be to test some hard line communication between Dragon and the International Space Station.
哎，等我啊 ，Bryce。等一下，等一下。
We sweep the guards up so they can't alert the others, then move in on the rear door. Watch. Guns on my signal, not before. Easy, easy, mate. We've got primates, right? Show them. Now.
Surprise.
I prospect. Think of everything. Door, Sergeant, take point. Check your shots. Butcher gets us to Hadir. We need him breathing until he does.
哎呦，你跑那么快，吓死我！
Suffering is not ours, but theirs. We give special thanks to our new soldier. Butcher is running! Clear! We'll clear! Get after him!
去哪？还跑？
Let them follow!
Street doors open.
嗯，我整只会有平民啊。
Yeah, Houston, Endeavor on the big loop. We had you loud and clear. Houston Station copies and concurs. We are putting it in work now, so transitioning call system.
他怎么还在那边啊？
Call you back for voice checks momentarily.
哎，你跑太快了，你骗谁？哪有跑那么快？
Communications with Dragon and the International Space Station just takes us through the procedures until we get to hatch opening. Now there's an umbilical connection with Dragon to the International Space Station. We did get good confirmation that power is flowing from the International Space Station to Dragon.
小孩子进去。
Next we'll be proceeding with some of the communications checks. The big loop established on the C2V2 common communications for visiting vehicle through some of the last legs and docking of Dragon to the International Space Station.
因为我不能杀你。
唱秋。
屁啦！这手弹爆炸的时间，我就是想射你。别跑啊！ 跑！我见。哎呦，这是 Price。
Contact! Vehicle, left side!
Hatch 你什么时候跑到这下面
？Just surrounding Chris Cassidy from this view, you can see a series of cameras. We're going to get some great views from Node 2 there on the left, a couple of high-definition cameras on the right, a 360 VR camera. Engage viewers and provide views from the International Space Station that have never been seen before. 3 years later, after they're configured and stitched on the ground, now they can go during the
Don't let him get away!
We're on the same page. Those steps in the execution notes are all that's needed.
Nick, he's cutting through the cafe, Riverside. South, where are you?
Inbound, Captain.
Watch for reinforcements.
Where the hell are they coming from?
哎，你被撞了被撞了，是很秋。懂哦。太空站在干嘛？ 他在架摄影机耶，他还要身兼记摄影师哦。他弄很多台呢。啊，你继续加油。 没事没事，来大家看这根棒子，这根会闪光的东西。
We'll start beginning hatch opening after that.
Wow, 太多人了吧！
Space station now integrated with the Dragon power. Still looking towards some of those hard-line communication checks. Again, we'll lose communication intermittently as the International Space Station flies 269 statute miles.
Ethan.
But you, Captain. Oh, you can do better than that. You think I forgot your face, SAS? Huh? Or you, Sergeant?
Get your head in the game, Sergeant. We need to break this bastard, Captain.
We're about to. Nikolai, where's the package?
Pulling in now, Captain.
Okay. Go to Nikolai. You get a package, you come back here. Right?
陈先生有你的包裹。
Sergeant Garrick, package is in the back.
What is it?
看起来好像也不是个什么好东西。补真剂。
Let's go. We know nothing. For negotiation. Perhaps the butcher will have a change of heart.
行家哦。
What's happening?
来，两位贵宾，请下车。两位贵宾，快走！
Again, he opened it a little bit earlier today.
快点，快点！
To allow some of the station air to mix into the pressurized mating
面对墙站好。
There it is.
好，你们可以回家了。
Now again, there's a few more hatches to open until we are able to welcome Bob and Doug aboard the International Space Station. You're looking through the hatch into the pressurized mating adapter. There's another hatch down there through the pressurized mating adapter that opens up to the International docking adapter.
I demand to know why we are here.
No, there was zero.
Kyle, you don't have to do this.
Zero on DPET, and the no 2 forward hatch is open.
当然要算我一份。
Good.
No, please.
Chris, we copy no 2 forward hatch open. We concur you go for the next yellow activity.
到厉害了吧？
15 activity. Instead of 2 and 2.102. This arrival for hatch opening. Basically, you're going to cycle the 8-pass equalization valve.
What did you do? Your own son is here. Your own
谁让你一天到晚像个足球流氓一样？
Procedure 4.400 to monitor vestibule pressurization.
promised you'd keep this away from us.
Captain.
男人说的话能信吗？
Pick it up, Sergeant.
What are you going to do to us?
Nobody's going to do anything to you, my loves. Sergeant.
Hey, no.
Please, we are not involved with
Hey,
any of this.
stop. They know. Hey, look at me. Stop. They know.
你可以自己证明啊，那你就证明他们跟这件事无关吗？
Okay, stop, please. Please, leave them alone. Sergeant, Captain, leave them.
Watch yourself there, Sergeant.
We want Hadia, and we want the gas. Where are they?
You cannot fix these things. They will happen. Nothing here will change that. Yeah. Go ahead. Shoot me. Kill me. Kill me.
想死的没这么容易。
Kill me. And you will never get what you're looking for.
应该拿个什么东西让它咬的，它咬舌自尽怎么办？
Yeah, shoot me. Shoot me. But show your captain how tough you are.
啊，你刚刚不是很 tough？
Do it. Do it.
Hey, tough guy。你有雄性秃哦，我看看。然后嘞？
It's right there. Sergeant.
走啊！
You pulled the hammer, Sergeant, not me. Rest assured, I wouldn't let the Sergeant break your own weapon doors. Listen. Now. Last chance. Where's the gas?
Last chance.
Fuck you.
Load the gun, Sergeant.
Sergeant, please, I'm begging you. Don't hurt my son.
Hey, no, leave him. I am not. I swear to you, I'm not. The gas is there, Kurt Kathir, I swear to you.
Where's Hadia? Young blood? You're too late to stop him. Go, Sergeant. Save some fucking Russians. General Barkov already be dead.
Yeah. Let's go and after Barkov. Done with him, you take a minute.
Russia and the West will go to war. And leave our land alone. Go, Sergeant. I told you everything, Sergeant.
Correct, Theater.
Do what you want with me.
Securing quarter in, you know.
Let my family leave.
Will do. Cruiser is yours.
No, you have what you want.
Thea's in Barkov's estate. He's gonna kill him.
If you go to shoot me, kill me, please.
Stop it.
You tried to be a hero, but you're just an angry boy. Don't call me boy. 刚刚很唱球呢。
4.012, we've completed up to section 5, and we've got a timer started for 1
但是我刚
hour.
开枪射他会怎样？
Copy completed through section 5 and your suits are drying. And you have started a timer for 1 hour with that
Untie Контактов нет. Вижу химикат. Внимание всем. Заложники безопасности. Химикаты целый. Мясник здесь.
Принято. Расчет их им защите уже в пути.
Get you back on.
We copy. We are go to come back on board. And with that, you are go to perform sections 1 through 3 of the
For us.
400.
Is there a difference?
We do recommend deferring your step
Road's blocked.
for the wave system
What's the plan?
until closer to hatch opening. In section 3,
Shocking
as
all.
you are performing your inventory, please collect all your food.
What if they don't move?
Trash.
And all those gonna break loose.
2 trash bags within their
Seconds. That's plenty of time.
Location 18. Transfer the plastic bags containing this trash to ISS for disposal during your scheduled activity.
Holy shit, Captain. Nikolai said they'll bake him. What if they follow?
You are
They won't.
to defer this inventory. This scheduled for right about now.
Boss.
Okay.
What the hell are we doing here?
If you could give
We're
us
cleaning
5
up a
minutes
mess.
before you
With
can
women
come
and
back
children.
on
They were
board,
leveraged.
we
They were
can
hostages.
have
You
some
treat the blood
to,
loss. You get blood in your hands, Kyle.
Understand we've got to go
That's how it
for
works.
sections 1, 2, and 3 of 4.400.
Where do we draw the line, is?
And we will consolidate our trash
You draw the line
into the back
wherever you need it,
location,
Sergeant.
18.
End of the day, someone has to make the enemy scared of the dark.
Waste configuration section
We
2,
get dirty,
4.400,
and the world
until we get
stays
close to
clean.
hatch opening.
That's the mission.
Copy 1507.
Now, if you're having second thoughts, then I can do this on my own. No, sir. No second thoughts. Good.
It was second thoughts.
Now let's get out of here before he kills Barkov.
说巴可夫被杀掉就是世界大战啊！ 哈迪尔他们杀掉巴克报仇。
Alcatala search party. Yeah, we'll take you. They're still looking. We're not too late then. Let's get in here before he starts a third world war in Barkov's basement. Stay close. Move up.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're listening to crews on board the International Space Station and Dragon prepare for opening the hatch. You're seeing Chris Cassidy aboard the International Space Station already opened the hatch to the pressurized mating adapter just below that hatchway you see at the center of the screen here. On the other side of the hatch is the hatchway to the International docking adapter. On the other side of that, the recently docked Crew Dragon. Vestibule pressurization is underway. This will equalize the pressure between Dragon and the International Space Station. Once it does come up to pressurization, it will take some time to equalize that pressure because of the temperature difference in the vestibule. Just take some time to stabilize.
Dragon, Endeavor, it's Houston. Calling you on hardline now for a voice check. How do you read?
It's quiet.
Means that he is already in control. I assume he is. But he's not. He will be. Keep moving, Kyle.
在哪里？哦，在这里。
Barkov's place will be crawling without Katana. Best advantage we'll have is the dark. Stay hidden and only engage when you have to. If it is in Barkov's house, we need a chance to find him. Shots fired. Let's go. That gate's our entry point. Keep up. Shoot the light. We'll use the dark for cover. Let's move. Thank you ahead. Hold fire. There's too many. Stay hidden. Keep out of the light. Move up. Just stay hidden.
Endeavor, it's Houston calling. Space to ground 2 by a hard line now for a voice check. Do you read?
刺眼吗？啊，刺眼吗？啊，刺眼吗？
121, 122, 123, 124, 125.
这设备很 OP 啊！
Rally on me, Sergeant. We need to cover power. Use the fuse box on the wall.
And Station Houston on 2, I don't know, we hear you loud and clear. We're going to swap a couple minor things here and try Dragon again. We're just starting to call Dragon, stand by.
Dragon again. Dragon FM, voice check. How do you read this? Count 121, 122, 123, 124, 125.
All clear. Move out.
And Station Houston on 2. Everybody, we'll just stand by for a few minutes. We're going to try to raise Dragon by another means. Stand by.
要忘点。
Here's the General's compound.
And Endeavor, it's Houston calling on Dragon to ground 1. We're trying to reach you by a hard line. Just not sure if you're receiving it or not. Let us know at your convenience.
Rope down. I'll provide overwatch.
And Houston from Endeavor, we're hearing quite a bit of echo on the other loop that appears to be connected. It's unintelligible, but we do have you loud and clear on the Dragon to ground.
And Endeavor, Houston on Dragon to ground. Thanks for that. Very helpful. We'll take a look, and we have you loud and clear on Dragon to ground as well. So we're gonna continue to work it and try to give you a call back in the next few minutes on hardline.
Endeavor copies. Thanks.
This is Mission Control Houston, working through the steps to pressurize the vestibule. We did have confirmation that vestibule pressurization was underway. We do have power flowing from the International Space Station to Dragon after it docked for a contact and capture at 9:16 a.m. Central Time, 10:16 a.m. Eastern, just earlier this morning. A few other milestones to reach. We need good audio communication hard-lined through the umbilical where Dragon is currently docked on the other side of that hatch, providing now power, just making sure those hard-line communications are intact. Working through that as we count down towards the milestones of opening that hatch.
I've lost visual. You're on your own for now. Good night. Go kill. Keep an eye out for a fuse box. Killing the lights will give us an advantage.
Dragon to ground.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Anna, in section 1 of 4.400, the tablet state of charge are 66 for Doug's and 32 for mine.
Copy. 66 for Doug, 32 for Bob. And do we have your permission to come back on board with video now?
Yeah, go ahead and come on board. We just may have to take it down at some point, as you might imagine, but come on board.
Sounds great, thanks.
Station Houston on 3 for Chris. Your convenience, but just an update on the comm status.
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Chris, you've probably been able to tell we've run into some minor issues trying to get hardline established, so we're working that here, and we're going to be reattempting the comm checks as soon as we think we're go. I'll give you a heads up on that. And then regarding stuff, just get aheads. I was going to pass along to do the teardown from steps 3 and 4 in the approach monitoring, but I just saw it go gray, so have you done that already?
Hold on just 1 second. Which one was that? Maybe I fat fingered the wrong receipt.
Yeah, no, it's the execution node for Dragon approach monitoring, as we were monitoring Dragon earlier today, and down in the execution node are the teardown steps.
I'm here in the cupola right now. I'll take care of it. It's not gray, but momentarily will be.
Sounds good. And I'm also hearing on that we have done on the ground steps 1 through 4, so it's just 5 and 6 left for you in that teardown procedure.
Coming up to the church.
Sounds like Gonzalez got a hostage.
See if it is there. He could have Barkov. He's down. They're interrogating a prisoner in the church.
在哪？
You can kill the lights to the building if you use that fuse box. I've got this one. Never mind. You better find another way around.
اللمبات صار لهم شيء ما عم اقدر ارجع شعلهم خليك مركز
Nice.
Watch out 3, steps 5 and 6 are completely tear down.
Copy, Chris. Thanks for that. And just about to hit the button and reattempt the hardline checks with
Find out what the hostage knows. Any intel could lead us to Barkov.
Endeavor, it's Houston calling via hardline. Voice check, how do you read?
人呢？太空树上的人呢？变了。
Say again.
And station standby Endeavor. This is a call for Endeavor via hardline. Voice check, how do you read?
My family will come.
Houston Endeavor, completely unreadable. It's skipping pretty badly.
At the pool and clock tower. See if it is there. Heads up. AQ's on patrol and they're technical.
And Endeavor, it's Houston on Dragon to ground. We heard your reply loud and clear. Understand we're still broken. We're working it. Thanks for the patience.
I'll help you stay hidden.
We got you, Josh. That's exactly the case. Thanks.
What an enemy to the right. They know something's wrong. Let's head and confirm that we're safe.
1 to 1, 1 to 2, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 1 to 5.
You're welcome. Clock tower ahead. I'm seeing an enemy on your left. He's mine.
And station on 2 for Anatoly. Anatoly, we're hearing you loud and clear in Houston. We seem to have an issue still with COM2 Dragon, so we'll just have you stand by. We'll let you know when we're ready to retry. Thanks for your patience.
Okay, call me over to the launch line.
他碾过他同伴的尸体了。看不见我。
You're on your own in there, mate.
Still no visual on the deal. It's another hostage.
See if they can still talk.
Betray my family. Shit, Captain. The hostage is Markov's family.
Markov's men came into Hadia's house, and now he's in theirs. Get to the pool now. If they have a hostage, it won't last long.
Dragon on Dragon to ground for a timeline tag up.
Go ahead.
Yeah, Anna, we're managing the collection of the used water bottles and other items as well as our meal, and just looking to understand a little bit better how closely we're to hatch opening or another timeline milestone. We're kind of running to the end of the tablet here with meal 5 that started about, I don't know, 25 minutes ago or so, and so just wanting to understand how much time we've got in front of us.
In Dragon SpaceX, we estimate we are about an hour to Dragon hatch opening.
Copy that, Anna. Thanks for those words. It just helps us manage getting things done. And looks like you guys are on board. Welcome aboard, I guess, the integrated space station now, huh?
Indeed. Thank you so much. We're excited to be here.
Line for a voice check. How do you read us now?
Pool is on the west.
Houston or station from Endeavor. I'm not sure the location of that last call, but still quite a bit of skipping and unreadable.
That's Highland security. AQ patrols are headed your way from the main house.
And Endeavor, it's Houston, loud and clear on Dragon to ground. We heard your response, so we're in the same situation. We're hearing you, you're not hearing us. We have one more troubleshooting item that we're going to put in work now, so we'll give that a try and then maybe call it for the day. We'll let you know.
Third floor.
Endeavor copies. Thank you.
You're saying third floor, 5-1.
It's all we got to go on. Get to the top floor of the estate. I'll meet you there.
那潜龙谍影嘛，一个人全部把所有人带光了。
Let's rally up. Get to the main house. Place just lit up like a bloody football ground. Get to the third floor now.
Working on it. All right, I'm inside.
to the third floor. Need them.
حاسس بوجوده.
لا شد عصر له لسه عم ندور. لا شد عصر له لسه عم ندور. ما راح بعيد.
哇！射击敌人附近的电灯或物品。
Endeavor, Houston calling by hardline for a final voice check. Do you have us now?
Houston, Dragon on the big loop, that was an improvement, but it's still completely unreadable.
And Endeavor on Dragon to ground 1. We're still hearing you 5x5. Understand it was slightly improved. Were you able to read me at all, or is it unusable?
Yeah, it was a slight improvement, but it's still unintelligible. Almost every word, and maybe one word that you could figure out, but
Okay, thanks for the feedback. First time we're running into some interference issues.
We copy.
冲刺会暴露我的位置。
I'm moving to the third floor.
Copy. Check fire. I'm up top.
Get that door open, Sergeant.
451.
Where's Markov? He's not here. His family was here.
Are you protecting him? No, we're taking you.
Come.
Wait! I'm not your enemy. I know where the gas is made. I have the location.
This is Markov's chemical factory.
Yes, I'm taking it down. We're still on the same side.
All right, this.
Then help us. Please, help my sister. Listen.
Get down!
No way out! Looks like clinics.
You're in my custody. Now fuck about.
Door is stuck!
Oh! Door stuck! Quick! Stand the Hornet's nest here. Markov on head for it.
We have to go now.
Just keep your gun on the rocks.
Help Garrett, I'll cover.
可以躲起来。
done in, Sergeant. On your feet, we are leaving! We're inside the perimeter! The exit tunnel is to the north. Keep it moving.
要物资啊！
Keep moving north. We'll hit the exit tunnel.
地址是怎样？
The exit tunnel is to the north. Keep it moving. Watch out for that searchlight! Come to the building! Go! Watch out for that searchlight!
小娇。
Keep moving north. We'll hit the exit tunnel. Movement there! Got visual on the tunnel.
Captain, I need something to open it. Let's go!
好了好了，快进去快进去！
Clear your head, son.
Please, sir. You helped me attack the lab, yes?
Aye! Not on your life.
You're going down for this.
Captain! This was a one-way trip, Lydia. You knew that.
But you'll do the right thing, yes?
Boss, tell me when we finish this. We need support. Let's hope we get it.
还没过去啊，太空很。
Captain, please, give Farah the plans, tell her the truth. You'll have a chance to tell the whole world. I don't care about the world. I did this for my sister.
Faceplate to 06. Friendly air traffic approaching south of 180. Call sign is Watcher 1.
Copy. It's Laswell.
What's she doing here?
Ah, smell blood. Lab intel. Keep it on you.
Yes, sir.
What the hell is this?
It's the off switch. We're turning him over.
To who?
Russia.
Prisoner swap.
It's one way.
What's the word, boss? Stand by.
Don't make this ugly, Captain.
Give me a reason not to.
It's a proxy war, John. We're all just pawns in this.
You speak for yourself. Hand him over.
Yes, sir.
Idea's yours, intel's mine.
Whatever you've got going on here, I can help.
I'll call you if I need you.
代理人战争。
Got your 6, Captain. Farah! Let's talk!
I know how this works, Captain.
Not this time. They gave Hadir to the Russians.
They'll kill him.
If he's lucky.
Looks like you saved the free world again, Captain Price.
Hadir located Barkov's lab in eastern Georgia.
Gas factory.
This is Mission Control Houston. If you're tuning in to our coverage, you're getting a live look at the International Space Station Flight Control Room. You're hearing a lot of communications from the International Space Station, both from the space station side over space to ground. NASA astronaut Chris Cassidy, International Space Station commander.
With your help.
Setting up for the hatch opening. You can see a series of cameras scattered around,
You're a good friend,
ready
Captain.
to capture the best views of
And the
Bob and
worst
Doug
enemy,
coming
I'm
through
sure.
the hatch. We did get
That
confirmation
I do
just
not cross
shortly
borders and
that
invade.
we
I
did
defend my
have
people
good
here at home.
pressurization of the vestibule. It'll be about 10 minutes to perform a series of leak checks. Again, that pressure needs to stabilize. The thermal conditions make it swing just a little bit, so just waiting for that to stabilize before those leak checks are finalized. That underway within the next 10
A
minutes.
militia with no ties to the West could carry out this mission.
We do have communications settled and the hardline connection between International Space Station and Dragon. You can see from the inside of Dragon now, the crew doffed or took off their suits.
This is a covert operation to destroy
before they
Barkov's
eventually
gas
open up the hatch after
Nikolai's
that
on the inside.
pressurization
He'll provide the
is
explosives.
equalized between
Two
the space
teams will
station
infiltrate.
and
Garrick
Dragon.
and I will plant charges on the pipeline. Farah and Alex, you'll get a detonator from Nikolai and rig the main furnace. When the charges are set, get a safe distance and bring it down. That support from Laswell paves the way. The rest is up to us.
Troops in the open north side of the bridge. Copper fire.
Keep better than plans. Tell her you
Faceplate to 06. Friendly air traffic approaching south of 180.
What's she doing here?
I smell blood. Lab intel. Keep it on you.
Yes, sir.
这不刚看过了吗？还来一次，是怎样？
What the hell is this?
It's the off switch. We're turning him over.
To who?
Russia.
Prisoner swap.
It's one way.
What's the word, boss? Stand by.
Don't make this ugly, Captain.
Give me a reason.
It's a proxy war, John. We're all just pawns in this.
You speak for yourself. Hand him over.
Yes, sir.
Idea's yours, intel's mine.
Whatever you've got going on here, I can help.
I'll call you if I need you.
Was that comp check for us?
Yeah, affirmative Endeavor. It's Houston. We transitioned back to RF because we still had the interference over hardline. So we're back on RF now and just want to make sure we had you.
We've got you loud and clear on RF.
Loud and clear as well. We're just going to leave it here for now. Thank you.
Here's a live look from inside the Crew Dragon. You're seeing Bob Bankin and Doug Hurley just preparing the inside of Dragon. They have doffed or taken off their suits. The pressurization between Space Station and Dragon is complete. They just need to perform some leak checks, make sure that pressure is stable before they actually open the hatch. Teams working together on the ground, International Space Station Flight Control Room and the Flight Control Room in Hawthorne to get that big loop communication configured so everyone can hear each other through this process, figured out a workaround using RF connection.
还没下太空船啊？哦。 大桥吗？这就这样开走啦。He and Doug Hurley, the commander of the spacecraft, just preparing the inside, putting away some trash. They just doffed their suits, and right now just waiting for the pressure to equalize between the International Space Station and Bob and Doug. Just two hatches, really, separating them from the inside of the orbiting complex. Aboard International Space Station, Commander Chris Cassidy has been outfitting Node 2. It's the first node. Once you cross over some of the hatchways, there it is. You can see some of the cameras positioned around to capture the crew coming in to the International Space Station. Much of that work completed at this point. Really, at this point, just waiting for good leak checks between Station and Dragon.
Station, Huntsville, Space to Ground 3 for Chris on the ISS experience.
Right on 3.
Hey Chris, we're not seeing good connection between the SSC-25 and the camera. We're coming up on a handover, but we're looking for a reboot of SSC-25.
Reboot 25, copy.
SpaceX Dragon on Dragon to ground for inventory.
I am here and ready to copy.
From bag 203, remove 3.
One lunch from 310. I correctly conclude all of this includes your consumption from the lunch that you just completed.
That's correct, Anna. We've finished eating, and the lunch we just completed is a complete list of what I've read down to you so far. The only thing we have remaining is the flush the waste system here, and we'll do that with the water bottle report. We do that a little bit later.
Copy. Perfect. Thank you so much.
That's the extent of our inventory. All else is per the packing plan.
Copy. All else from further packing plan.
Let's make sure he never leaves.
This is Mission Control Houston. You've seen Chris Cassidy, International Space Station Commander, do much of the setup, but he does have 2 crew members on board, both Russian cosmonauts. Next to him right now is Ivan Wagner, rookie space flyer that was on the same Soyuz spacecraft that Chris Cassidy launched on from the Baikonur Cosmodrome just a little more than a month ago. Also on board is Russian cosmonaut Anatoly Ivanishin. Equalizing the pressure between Dragon and International Space Station, verifying some of the communications, and of course you see Bob Bacon and Doug Hurley inside, continuing to prepare the inside of their vessel before they make their way inside the orbiting complex.
Moving up, second level.
You heard the call from Bob Bankin, Joint Operations Mission Commander of the Demo 2 mission, taking down some of those milestones. We're still waiting for some of those milestones to pass before actually opening the hatch. The Dragon crew continuing to get them before opening the hatch. Chris Cassidy on the other side, just preparing some of the camera views, making sure everything's set there, done even a little bit ahead of time. Confirmation between Dragon and the International Space Station. Some of those checks underway next. Docking 9:16 a.m. Central, 10:35 a.m.
Entry help.
Dragon SpaceX, we have on exterior with the camera.
Dragon copy.
先走好不好？
The rest follows.
Correct. Don't lose it.
Why help us?
Barkov is a stain on my country. It will not stand.
Спасибо, Николай.
Take the rest of Nice and Sergeant Garrick. See you on the other side.
After docking, almost 2 hours ago at this point. Stabilization, attitude control, now back to its standard configuration of thrusters and control moment gyros. After an umbilical established, we power flowing from the International Space Station to Dragon now relying on station power. Taking confirmation of pressurization, International Space Station, and ever the same we would find here on Earth.
把自己炸死。好了，被人打。
pressure is stabilized between the two vehicles. That's the hatch to the pressurized mating adapter. There's 2 more hatches. Once you go down that hatchway, one is to the international docking adapter, and the other is the dragon itself.
这么难打。
Section 2 in work if you think we have some time before we get the hatch open.
Let me get you word on that waste system flush.
Okay, we'll shut the suit fan off now.
You are
calm the normal way that we do PAO events, if that's something that's preferred. It really is super fast, and I can get you that way in that config real quick if you need it.
Sure. Copy, Chris. Yeah, copy. Thanks for that. We'll offer it up, and I'll let you know if you want to go that way.
打赢他了，有。
We've got a problem. Echo, this is actual. How copy?
Send traffic from your last comment.
That goes approaching the furnace now, Andrew.
HD bike and be going up.
Roger, I go out. You heard him. Let's get it
That's
done.
what we're intending. Did you maybe just... We might have missed your intent in your previous remarks. Is that what you had in mind?
No, I had, like we do all other PAO events, we talk, we hold the handheld microphone that is going through the clip-on mic transmitter to the clip-on, to the, through the camera.
从每个按钮上感觉都是智障。
That's how we typically do as PAO events, so I
Clear.
can go back to that config if you need super fast.
What
or
happened?
if you want to do it this way where we're talking on
fucked.
space ground too, that's fine too, I don't care. Just throwing it out there.
Stead.
It's different than we normally do PAO events.
I'll go in there.
And do what?
Ignite the furnace.
You'll never get away in time.
I know what I'm doing.
Farah, listen to me.
No, you listen to me.
And just to be clear,
Because of this poison, my people have known something worse than war. I've not come this far to turn back.
I'm not asking you to turn back.
So all I would do is
I'm asking you to give me the order.
into the encoder and switch
I won't do that.
to the nominal
Commander,
to
please.
I am not your CO.
Then who is? Because someone needs to light this fire and someone needs to kill Barkov. And you can't do both. I've been an assignment my whole life. This is what I believe in.
Clear. The camera
Give me
needs
the
to be
order.
plugged into the encoder. So what you're saying is what we need.
What a
We don't
freedom.
know where it got swapped up, but the camera should definitely be plugged into the encoder, and audio's coming down via that encoder.
Fighter Alex.
Okay.
Freedom Warrior.
Yeah.
Say the word.
We'll just use it on the... I guess what I was thinking is going back to one without a battery and not being dependent on the battery. And going back over to the nominal cable, which includes power. Get a little leery about what they're relying on these batteries.
Alex 应该是觉得之前做太多黑暗事情。要停在一下。
Roger, Echo. Fight into the pipeline now. Set, Sergeant. No ROE now, our captain. Not at all. Stolen away that sniper.
达工厂管线所。外面有枪吧？ 把这个枪托，要快举枪的比较。
Station Houston 3, Chris, if you're still there, we think we still have it backwards.
All right, set the charges. Let's go.
I see you. Yeah, I see the video now. So, we still have PAO on the line. I think it's clear. This morning, we moved the cameras. We swung the cameras that are connected to the encoder. What we want now, we're getting video from the free flow camera through the encoders. We're seeing it right now. What we need, just to relay them here,
死了吧？
Barkov is dead.
I'll be complete before 012.
Alex.
I'm not getting out of here.
What my thought was after we do all of the ingress stuff and we switch gears to the PAO ceremony where we're standing right in
那
front
选
of
不
the
同的
hatch,
话会有什么结局啊？
we could have
难道有多线结局？应该没有吧？
but it's really no big deal. What I'll do is I'll just come back together, come back and go stand by, and I'll just make sure it's
with the config that it's in right now. Now we copy all on the battery config. Great idea to have a few spares nearby. But we think it's going to last throughout the whole event.
这样吗？
And Station Houston on 3 for Chris. With that out of the way, you have
well, I'm a long way from
for your 16-15 activity. 16-15.
Russia disowned Barkov.
That's your go for
Well, they didn't have much choice, did they? He's dead.
102,
You took a big bite out of that problem, John.
For now. We're left unchecked.
They won't be. General Shepard pulled the files you asked for. What exactly is this about?
A task force.
We already have loose ends.
Then I will tie them.
I can fund assets, not outlaws.
Endeavor, Houston calling on hardline for a voice
Enjoy the
check.
tea, then.
Sakayev wants Barkov's throne.
I almost buried him in Pripyat with Macmillan.
That was the father. This is the son, Victor.
Victor.
Lovely family.
They're big fans of
family.
hunters.
Well, that would explain why he's still alive.
They're gonna get him out.
Then give me what I need.
Endeavor,
Who's your
Houston
crew?
calling via hardline for a voice check.
Sergeant Garrick.
Kyle?
They call him Gaz. He never said anything.
Loud and clear, how was it?
John McTavish, SAS, sniper, demolitions, goes by SOAP.
Why?
It's classified. There he is.
Congrats.
Simon Riley.
Sounds like we got it at least somewhat sorted out.
There's no picture.
Never. Now the rest.
Affirmative, concur. We think we might have found it. Interference between
That's neat
CTC
to
and the
know.
hardline system, but we're going to
Unless we
keep it
gotta
here for now and proceed down the timeline.
What are you calling this task force?
141.
那结束了吗？有些角色什么东西我都不太记得。还没进太空站啊，搞很久呢。141.
Houston on 3, hey, can you back me up on the PDT?
Will do, we're checking. Station Houston on 2, Chris. TPDT is good, you're going to continue.
Copy, thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston. You're looking at the inside of the International Space Station. What you were hearing before were just some of the audio and video checks, just making sure that everything's synced up so that we get the best views and the best audio possible for when Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley come through that hatch. We're working towards the hatch opening now. You can see Chris Cassidy down the pressurized mating adapter. That hatch will open up to the international docking adapter. On the other side is the Dragon hatch. Cassidy working through those procedures after pressure equalization was complete. Now expecting around the order of 10 to 15 minutes maybe until we finally get that hatch open. So we'll stand by, keep those views coming from the inside of the International Space Station to welcome Bob and Doug aboard.
Pressurized.
Space Station flight control room.
This is it.
The team here orbiting
Vector.
Scoville is working through the intricate process of making sure everything is ready to open the hatch for the International Space Station. It's been a journey so far to get to this point. More than 2 hours ago, made contact and
City's
capture
under evacuation.
with the International Space Station was the Dragon.
This place was nice
the Crew
once.
Dragon vehicle.
It's not anymore.
Bob
East and West rebuilt Verdansk
9:16 a.m. Central, 10:16 a.m.
Like you didn't like
Eastern.
that cooperation. Now they've got armor, heavy weapons.
Terrorists with tanks.
Who's at the helm?
Someone new.
Nice hit. What's his name?
We don't know, but he's got friends in high places.
This is Russian intel. Where did we get this?
My counterpart in Moscow.
The CIA working with the FSB.
Not the first time.
Cameron.
Captain Price. Nikolai. Been a bad boy.
From you, that's a compliment.
Please. We're all friends here. I owed you. For Beirut.
Sergeant Kamarov is going to help conduct this operation.
These new weapons give Alcatelas the power to turn acts of terror into acts of war. That's the problem. For everyone.
We're launching a multilateral force to hunt AQ's new leader and contain this threat while we still can.
Okay, we're in. Start up your teams. That's up, right?
And the 141 141
Looks like we've got about 10 minutes left. So we'd like to pick up in section 2 of 4.400.
Story counting.
Checking.
Ops. Back ops.
This is Mission Control Houston. Chris Cassidy opens the hatch to the International Docking Adapter, 11:37 a.m. Central Time. Station and Dragon flying together, 267 statute miles over the South Pacific. There's a view from the camera at the forward end of Dragon.
20 minutes until Dragon hatch open, and the APAS hatch was just opened.
Come on.
Again, 11:37 a.m. Central. The hatch to the International Docking Adapter was open. You see Chris Cassidy there poking his head in. That's the camera at the forward end of the Dragon. Now only one hatch separating Bob Behnken, Doug Hurley from Chris Cassidy, who you're seeing here from those Dragon views. Expected time to open that hatch is about 20 minutes from now. We'll report that time to you and expect to do a welcome ceremony at 12:15 a.m. Central Time, 1:15 p.m. Eastern. That'll welcome Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley aboard the International Space Station as part of the Expedition 63 crew. We'll get to hear some words from them and have some VIPs here in Mission Control Houston to provide words to the teams that oversaw the entire mission and the crew aboard the International Space Station.
Station Houston, we copy the hatch open, no condensation, thanks.
这边是从飞龙过去。都看起来旧旧的，对啊，这边是飞龙号看过去，然后刚那个画面是从太空站看过来。加油！
Back in the ground. How us?
A little choppy. How mean?
You are loud and clear. We'll put section 2 of 4.400 in work.
We copy all. Thank you. And please give Anatoly a call on Big Loop.
Okay, we'll call Anatoly on the Big Loop, and I'd also like to report 2 bottles of water consumed from location 9, bag 204.
Location 9, bag 204, and to confirm that was for the waste system flush.
One for the waste system.
Chris Cassidy, removing that target from the A-Pass hatch docking interface.
Dragon, comm check on the Big Loop for Anatoly from Endeavor.
单人阵营的任务 ，Price 看到那些，还有组成 Hope Riley Post。
Dragon SM voice check. How to read me? Counting 121, 122, 123, 124, 125.
Anatoly, Endeavor has you loud and clear. How copy?
Copy system. They have me loud and clear.
Good to hear your voice.
Dragon SM, how to read me?
Loud and clear.
Okay. See you soon.
Facial Ops Russian 44 well 伴随完整
And all players from Houston, that completes the comm checks. Thank you.
FSB 俄罗斯联邦安全服务批准了这样联合行动，是最后 Price 跟他们讲的。
Houston, those comm checks within the International Space Station between the Dragon crew, Chris Cassidy, and on the other side of the International Space Station, the Russian segment, Russian cosmonaut Anatoly Ivanishin completing those voice checks.
还没有办法辨识的新威胁。
You can see Cassidy continuing to outfit the hatch, just clearing the space and providing some padding and removing that docking target from the A-Pass hatch.
Boy.
SpaceX Dragon, go ahead and Dragon to ground.
So I copy that the waste system flush is in work, and 2 more bags were consumed from location 9, bag 204, and that includes the water used for the waste system flush. Is that all correct?
From bag 204, one of which bombs is in the process of consuming, and the other will be a waste flush. That is correct.
Thanks for clarifying. And secondly, do we have your permission to come back on board with video?
Negatives. We're going to need about 2 minutes. We're just wrapping up ops here right now.
Copy. 2 more minutes. We will await your confirmation.
有我战斗通行证吗？有啊。
Thank you.
Still getting views from the infrared camera that's located right at the center of the Dragon hatch, looking at Chris Cassidy, International Space Station Commander, outfitting that hatch, getting ready for Bob and Doug to arrive. You are hearing communications over Dragon to ground. That was Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley on the other side of that hatch, inside the crew Dragon vehicle, finishing up their operations on the inside for that hatch opening, expected in about 10 to 15 minutes. Again, it's been a process to get to this point. Just about 2.5 hours ago, docking to the International Space Station was Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley aboard the first commercial American vehicle to dock to the International Space Station with crew aboard. Again, we're expecting about 10 to 15 minutes to open up that hatch. One more hatch separating Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley from the inside of the International Space Station. Still looking at Cassidy doing some of the prep work for that hatch. We'll get some great views that Cassidy set up over the past few hours to capture this historic moment today. Be sure to stay tuned in at 12:15 p.m. Central Time, 1:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll start a welcome ceremony, officially welcoming Bob Behnken and Doug Hurley aboard the International Space Station to join the Expedition 63 crew.
PVE.
SpaceX Dragon on Dragon to ground.
Go ahead.
Anna, you're clear to come on board.
Copy, clear to come on board, and thanks for your patience with the comm. We are in an orientation that's creating some blockage to receive your comm on Dragon to ground.
Yeah, we figured that was it. No problem. That's part of the deal.
Chris Cassidy giving a wave, eagerly awaiting Bob and Doug to come aboard. Just behind him, you see Anatoly Ivanishin and Ivan Wagner, Russian cosmonauts of Expedition 63, standing by. We'll be able to come aboard Dragon here in a sec, get some views from the crew Dragon. We're in a short handover of those communications from the International Space Station. Video and audio should be regaining them momentarily.
Board at war, like us, like those. 他们还在搞。哎，开账吧。
Anatoly Ivanishin in the foreground there. Chris Cassidy continuing the prep work for opening up the hatch there. Again, the pressurized mating adapter hatch you see there in the foreground is open. The APAS hatch to the international docking adapter is open. Just one more, and that's the hatch of Dragon, the Crew Dragon
Call
vehicle.
of Duty Modern Warfare. Activision Collection Bundle 53套游戏25000。疯啊！
Houston copies. Dragon call ready when you're able.
Houston Dragon, go ahead.
And Dragon Houston, just looking to confirm that you're ready for hatch equalization.
We are ready as long as SpaceX is ready.
Space.
Okay, Station and Endeavor, stand by for equalization. We're putting it in work. Expected equalization time 4 minutes.
Space.
Station copies.
Endeavor copies.